than a number. Okay? The key words here being less than. Okay? If I said, Derek, what is 4 less than 20? What is the answer to that? What? So you said 20 minus 4, right? Okay. So when we have the words less than, we have to take the two numbers involved and switch their places. Okay, when I ask Derek what is 4 less than 20, okay, so let me write that down. When I say what is 4 less than 20, well, he said that was 16. Okay, to get 16, we have to take 20 minus 4. Okay, so we switched those two numbers, their places in the expression. Okay, this only happens on less than. Okay, it only happens on less than. Okay, if it says a number minus 4, then that would be x minus 4. If it says 4 minus a number, then that would be 4 minus sign x. Okay, so the only times this happens is on less than do we reverse the order of the numbers. Okay, that is one of the key areas where people make their mistakes if they're going to make mistakes. Okay, so that one then would be, we've decided would be what? What letter? D as in dog. Okay, it would be D as in dog. All right, now, let's look at some other ones. A number added to -7. Okay, a number added to -7. So what would that be? How would you write that expression? X plus -7. Now, remember, -7 plus x would be the same thing. Okay, you'll see it both ways. I think in the book that they actually say that's the answer, but it's the same thing. And there's a reason why they do that, but we'll talk about that at a later date. Okay, how about this one? 1/3 of a number. First of all, what mathematical operation are they doing with 1/3 of a number? It's a fraction, but that's not a mathematical operation. What? Multiplication. The word of, okay, the word of means to multiply. Anytime you see the word of, there's usually multiplication involved. So, that means this is 1/3 of a number, which is x. That's how you would show it. Okay? How about twice a number? Multiplying, and we're doing what? Okay, so what's the answer? Okay, x times x would be raising it to a power. In other words, think about it. If you did 4 times 4, that would be 16. But what is twice of 4? 8. So that's the difference between the two. How we write it, because that's what you would do. Normally, you would go, 2 times 4. Okay? Well, this is 2 times x, so you don't want to do that. Okay? So you just do 2x. Anytime that you have a number in front of the variable without any other Okay? Anytime that you have a number in front of the variable without any other operation sign, like minus, division, plus, it means to multiply. So we could have, 3y, we could have 4t, we could have 22w. Those all mean to multiply. What you don't want is this. You don't want w22. Okay? That's not mathematically wrong. It's just not accepted. Okay? It's not an accepted practice. Okay? So don't put it like that. Put it 22w. Would not be wrong because of the commutative property of multiplication that says you can flip the two factors and still get the same answer. But you're never going to see it like that. Okay? So don't get in the habit of writing it that way. The number always goes in front of the variable. And to make that go home with you, okay, I am going to count it wrong the first few times you do it. Okay, so it sticks in your brain that you don't put it after the letter, you always put it in front of the letter. So if they said a number times 13, okay, well that would be 13x. Now, unless the directions tell you to use a specific variable, I don't care which one you use. Okay? But if the directions tell you to use x, then you got to use x. Okay? If they, I think the only one they have another one in there where it tells you to use y. So if read the directions carefully, one of your downfalls is you rarely read the directions. And if you do, you rarely read them carefully. All right? So make sure you read them carefully and know which variable that you're supposed to use. Now, those were all expressions. Okay, they were what we call mathematical, well actually, most people are going to call them variable expressions. Okay, a variable expression is what we just did. It's a variable with some type of mathematical operation done to it. Okay, that's what those are. Now, the next thing we need to talk about is equations. Okay, we've already talked about equations in the past. Okay, equations have an equal sign. Equal means equation. Okay, related events there. So the only difference between what we just had and what we're going to do is this. When we talk about equations, you must have an equal sign. Okay? Most of the time, the equal sign will be represented by the word is or equal. Okay? So when you see either the word is or the word equal to in a sentence, that usually means a equal sign. Okay, obviously most sentences are not going to have two is's in them. Okay? If they had two is, the word is in the sentence, then only one of them is going to be an equal sign, because you can't have two equal signs in an equation. Okay, you can't have x equal 4 plus x equal 2. That's not an equation. That's not even a mathematical expression. It's not capable of doing that. Okay? So, let's look at the first one. The sum of a number and -9 equals 24. So, my key terms are sum of and equals. Okay? So we already know what does the word sum mean? S-U-M. What? Erica? Adding. Means to add. It's the total to an addition problem. So we're going to take the sum of a number. So this means to add. A number means in this case y, because they want you to use y. This is negative 9. This is equals, this is 24. So now I have that information, so what is my equation going to be? Right. Y plus negative 9 equal 24. And that's your answer.
Wait, but on these kinds of problems, do you want us to put the number first still, or can we put the variance?
Only on multiplication do you have to put the number first. Okay? So let's look at another one. Yes. 1/4 of the difference of 6 and a number is 200. Okay? 1/4 of the difference of 6 and a number is 200. So our key terms in this one of difference is. Okay? Now, here's where people make their mistakes. It says 1/4 of the difference. The difference. Okay? It doesn't say 1/4 of 6. It says 1/4 of the difference. Okay? So we're going to take 1/4 and we're going to multiply it by the difference. The word difference is this parentheses. Now, the word difference itself means to what mathematically? Subtract. So I'm going to subtract 6 and a number, which is y. Now, the reason we did it in order is because we're not using the words less than. Difference, minus, subtract, those all mean just keep it in the order they gave it to you. Okay? Now, the next one is the word is, which is an equal sign, and then 200. So, 1/4 times 6 minus y in parentheses equals 200. That's your answer. Okay? Now, if that would have said 1/4 of 6 minus a number, then it would be 1/4 parentheses around the 6 and then minus y. Okay? But since it said, if it would have said 1/4 of the sum, then the sum would be in parentheses. Okay? Let's look at this one. The sum of -4 times, got going too fast, started writing in cursive, a number the sum of -4 times a number and 3 equals 27, or is 27. Okay? So once again, our key terms, the sum times is. Okay? So we have two mathematical operations in there. The sum, which means to add, and times, which means to multiply. Okay? So it says the sum of this whole thing. Okay, that's what they mean when they say the sum. The sum of this expression right there. How do I write -4 times a number and 3? Once again, that being a key term in there. First, let's look at this. How do I write -4 times a number? Okay, so -4, y. That's -4 times a number. Okay, that's this part right there. Okay, so now what's the next thing I do? Plus 3. The next thing is plus 3 because of the sum and 3. Okay, and the last part's easy. Equal 27. Okay, and so that would be your answer. All right, bear with me one sec here. All right, let's look at those two problems. Okay. Mark out the answers there. All right. It says the temperature decreased by 24 degrees Fahrenheit and now is 75 degrees Fahrenheit. They want to know what the original temperature was. Okay, the directions tell you to, let me go back to it here on my screen. Directions tell you to write an equation to represent the situation, then use middle math to solve the equation. Okay, so the key terms in our statement, and this is where, when we start reading word problems, all that, we've got to use the same thing we just used in the first part of this when we're doing expression and equations. The key part is the word decreased and is. Okay? So if we look at that, we know that the word decreased means to subtract. Okay, and then the word is means equals. All right, so do we know what the original temperature was? No. So we're going to say T is equal to the original temperature. Okay, the original temperature was not 24. The original temperature we don't know. Okay, but we do know this. We do know that the original temperature is T, and what did we do to that original temperature? We decreased it. So we subtract by 24, And that is going to be equal to what? 75. Okay? That's the equation part. That's your first answer. Your second answer is to take t minus 24 equals 75 and solve mentally. Okay? And to solve that mentally, you just simply add 24 to this side. And that would be t equal to 99 degrees. You will have to have both of them for your answer to be correct. Okay, so now that we've done that one, I want you to look at 32 and try to simplify or solve it. Write the equation and then simplify it. All right. So let's see here. Tristan, what'd you get? 8. No? I want to know the equation first. Huh? Joshua, what do you think? Okay. You got what? Okay. All right. Let's look at, a lot of y'all are correct, or several of you are correct. It says half off. Okay? Half off means this. 1/2 times something. Okay, if something's 25% off, you would multiply. Okay, so if it's half off, that's just like saying 50% off. So we're going to take 1/2 off. We'll let y equal the price. So let's let p equal the price. And that's going to be equal to $16. Okay, what you said was right. Also, Nicole, you could write that as p divided by 2 equals 16. That would be correct as well. Okay, now, what is 1/2 of some number and it equals 16? If I take half of a number, it has to equal 16. 32. Okay? So that is, either one of those is your answer for your equation, and then the actual price was 32. Okay, what you did, Tristan, is you took half of the 16, and that was the final price was the 16. Okay, so it was $32 originally. Yeah. Okay, so your homework. $7.1. $7 through 17 and 31 through 43. That's 23 problems, 24 problems. You may go.